Hi nurses, are you ready for another anatomy and physiology discussion? Yes, for today we are going to discuss endocrine system. If you want to know more about that, stay tuned. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Galve and I'm a registered nurse and I do have a degree in medical surgical nursing. I create nursing educational contents to help nursing students with their studies. If that's something that you are interested in, consider subscribing. If you're already a subscriber though, thank you so much for your love and support. I see you. I upload my nursing educational videos 2 to 3 times in a week. Don't miss that out. Subscribe now. Hit that notification bell so that you will be the very first to watch my newest uploads. Also, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and share with your friends because that will really help me know that you like to see more contents like this. Without further ado, you're ready? Let's do this. Hi nurses, isang panibagong anatomy and physiology discussion nga ang alay ko sa inyo for today. Because on this video, we are going to have a thorough discussion of your endocrine system. Now, in order for me to do that, I will need to switch back to my PC and I'll see you guys in a bit. Hi everybody, welcome back sa ating formal discussion ng iyong endocrine system. Yes, for today, this is your ultimate anatomy and physiology nursing study guide sa pag-aaral mo ng iyong endocrine system. Medyo mahaba po itong ating discussion for today, but I'll try to be as quick and as precise as possible. Handa ka na? Let's begin. Alright, so objectives for our today's discussion, we're going to have the functions of the endocrine system, anatomy of the endocrine system, physiology of the endocrine system. Let's begin. So what is the function of your endocrine system, you guys? Isa-isahin natin to. Now, water equilibrium. The endocrine system controls water equilibrium by regulating the solute concentration of the blood, growth, metabolism, and tissue maturation. Now, the endocrine system controls the growth of many tissues like the bone and muscles and the degree of metabolism of various tissues, which aids in the maintenance of the normal body temperature and normal mental functions. Maturation of tissues, which appears in the development of adult features and adult behavior, are also determined by the endocrine system. See, napakalaki nga po ng function ng ating endocrine system. Now, heart rate and blood pressure management. The endocrine system assists in managing the heart rate and blood pressure and aids in preparing the body for physical motion. What else? You also have there your immune system control. The endocrine system helps regulate the production and functions of immune cells. Reproductive function controls. The endocrine system regulates the development and the function of the reproductive system in males and females. Naalala mo yung gonads natin? Dito yon, under po sila ng endocrine system. Uterine contraction and milk release. The endocrine system controls uterine contraction throughout the delivery of the newborn and stimulates milk release from the breast in lactating females. Ion management. The endocrine system regulates the sodium, potassium, and calcium concentration in the blood. Blood glucose regulator. The endocrine system controls blood glucose levels and other nutrient levels in the blood. Direct gene activation. Being lipid-soluble molecules, the steroid hormones can diffuse through plasma membranes of their target cells. Once inside, the steroid hormone enters the nucleus and binds to a specific receptor protein there. Then, the hormone receptor complex binds to specific sites on the cell's DNA, activating a certain genes to transcribe messenger RNA. The mRNA then translated in the cytoplasm, resulting in the synthesis of new proteins. Second messenger system. Water-soluble non-steroidal hormones, protein, and peptide hormones are unable to enter the target cells. So, instead, they bind to receptors situated on the target cell's plasma membrane and utilize a second messenger system. So what is the anatomy of the endocrine system, you guys? Now, we are going to discuss the organs of the endocrine system compared to the organs of the body. Please note that compared to the organs of the body, the organs of the endocrine system are small and unimpressive. However, functionally, the endocrine system are very impressive, and when their role in maintaining body homeostasis is considered, they are true giants, okay? Hypothalamus. The major endocrine organs of the body include the pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid, thyroid, adrenal, pineal, and thymus glands, the pancreas, and the gonads. Yun nga po. Now, hypothalamus, which is part of the nervous system, is also considered as a major endocrine organ because it produces several hormones. It is an important autonomic nervous system and endocrine control center of the brain located inferior to the thalamus. Na ano nga ba ang functions ng ating hypothalamus? Although the function of some hormone-producing glands is purely endocrine, the function of others, pancreas and gonads, is mixed both endocrine and exocrine. Now, we're gonna have pituitary gland. On this slide, we're going to discuss the hormones of the anterior pituitary and your posterior pituitary. So, kalma ka, I got you. Na-discuss muna natin ano yung pituitary gland natin bago natin i-dissect yung anterior and posterior. Now, pituitary gland is approximately the size of a pea. Now, it has two lobes. Now, the anterior pituitary, glandular tissue, and the posterior pituitary, which is your nervous tissue. Now, we're gonna have anterior pituitary gland. Now, what are the hormones of your anterior pituitary gland? You guys, there are several hormones of the anterior pituitary that affect many body organs. Ano-ano ito? Una natin ang growth hormone, GH. Growth hormone is a general metabolic hormone. However, its major effects are directed to the growth of skeletal muscles and long bones of the body. It is a protein-sparing and anabolic hormone that causes amino acids to be built into proteins and stimulates most target cells to grow in size and divide. What else? Prolactin, PRL. Prolactin is a protein hormone structurally similar to growth hormone. Its only known target in humans is the breast because after childbirth, it stimulates and maintains milk production by the mother's breast. Prolactin, milk. Adrenocorticotropic hormone ng ating ACTH. Your ACTH regulates the endocrine activity of the cortex portion of the adrenal gland. Thyroid stimulating hormone ng ating TSH. Now, this is also called thyrotropin hormone, influences the growth and activity of the thyroid gland. Gonadotropic hormones. The gonadotropic hormones regulate the hormonal activity of gonads, ovaries, and testis nga po. Yun nga po ang ating gonads. Mamaya tatalakay natin yon. What else? Follicle stimulating hormones ang ating FSH. Now, your FSH stimulates follicle development in the ovaries. As the follicle mature, they produce estrogen and eggs that are re-dyed for ovulation. In men, FSH stimulates sperm development by the testis. Luteinizing hormone ang iyong LH. LH triggers ovulation of an egg from the ovary and causes the rupture of the follicle to produce progesterone and some estrogen. In men, LH stimulates testosterone production by the interstitial cells of the testis. So ano naman yung mga hormones ng ating posterior pituitary? Now you guys, the posterior pituitary is not an endocrine gland in the strict sense because it does not make peptide hormones it releases, but simply acts as a storage area for hormones made by the hypothalamic neurons. Na talakay natin to. Oxytocin. Oxytocin is released in significant amount only during childbirth and in nursing women. It stimulates powerful contraction of the uterine muscles during labor, during sexual relations, and during breastfeeding, and also causes milk ejection o yung ating tinatawag na let-down reflex. This is for all applicable sa ating mga nursing woman, yung mga nagpapasuso. Antidiuretic hormone ng iyong ADH. ADH causes the kidneys to reabsorb more water from the forming of urine. As a result, urine volume decreases and blood volume increases in larger amounts. ADH also increases blood pressure by causing constriction of the arterioles, so it's sometimes referred to as vasopressin. ADH, vasopressin, magkapareho lang po yun ha, wag malilito. Okay, now, thyroid gland, maganda to. Thyroid gland is a hormone-producing gland that is familiar to most people primarily because many obese individuals blame their overweight condition on their glands. So saan mo nga ba makikita ang ating thyroid gland as shown in this picture, you guys? It is located at the base of the throat just inferior to the Adam's apple, where it is easily palpated during a physical examination. What are the lobes of your thyroid gland. It is fairly large gland consisting of two lobes joined by central mass or isthmus. Ano ang composition nito? Internally, the thyroid gland is composed of hollow structures called follicles, which store a sticky colloidal material. Now, what are the hormones of your thyroid gland? Thyroid hormones, often referred to as the body's major metabolic hormone, is actually two active iodine-containing hormones. In order for our thyroid hormones to commence its function, kailangan mo ng iodine. Remember? So what are those hormones? Thyroxine or T4 at ang yung triiodothyronine or T3 at meron din tayong thyrocalcitonin. Thyroxine is a major hormone secreted by the thyroid follicles, T4. Triiodothyronine. Most triiodothyronine is formed at the target tissues by conversion of the thyroxine to triiodothyronine. Functions. Thyroid hormone controls the rate of which glucose is burned, oxidized, converted to body heat and chemical energy. It is also important for normal tissue growth and development. Calcitonin, thyrocalcitonin nga po. Ginagawa ko para mas lalo ko siya matandaan, sinasabi ko thyrocalcitonin. Pag nakita mo sa ibang libro na sinabi nilang thyrocalcitonin or calcitonin, same lang yun, ha? Calcitonin decreases blood calcium levels by causing calcium to be deposited in the bones. Calcitonin is made by the so-called parafollicular cells found in the connective tissues between the follicles. Now, we're gonna have parathyroid gland. So, let's define this. Parathyroid gland's location niya, posterior surface of the thyroid gland. Ito po siya, parathormone. Yun ang kanyang nire-release na hormone. Parathyroid gland, parathormone. Parathyroid secretes parathyroid hormone ng iyong PTH or parathormone, which is the most important regulator of calcium ion homeostasis of the blood. PTH is a hypercalcemic hormone, whereas calcitonin is hypocalcemic hormone. PTH also stimulates the kidneys and intestines to absorb more calcium. Now we're going to have your adrenal glands. On this slide, we're going to discuss hormones of the adrenal cortex and hormones of your adrenal medulla. Dalawa kasi to, cortex and medulla. Hinga-hinga ka, buhay ka pa ba, nakakasunod ka pa ba? Ito na tayo. Now, hormones of the adrenal cortex. Now, the adrenal cortex produces three major groups of steroid hormones which are collectively called corticosteroids, mineralocorticoids, glucocorticoids, and sex hormones. Isa-isahin natin to. Mineralocorticoids. The mineralocorticoids, primarily aldosterone, are produced by the outermost adrenal cortex cell layer. Mineralocorticoids are important in regulating the mineral, which is salt, content of the blood, particularly to the concentration of sodium and potassium ions, and they also help in regulating the water and electrolyte balance in the body. Ano pa? Renin. Renin, which is an enzyme produced by the kidneys, drops also cause the release of aldosterone by triggering a series of reactions that form angiotensin II, a potent stimulator of aldosterone release. Atrial natriuretic peptide, yung ANP. ANP prevents aldosterone release, its goal being to reduce blood volume and blood pressure. Ano pa? Glucocorticoids. The middle cortical layer mainly produces glucocorticoids, which include cortisone and cortisol. Glucocorticoids promote normal cell metabolism and help the body to resist long-term stressors, primarily by increasing blood glucose levels. Thus, it is said to be a hyperglycemic hormone. It also reduces pain and inflammation by inhibiting some pain-causing molecules called prostaglandins. What else? Sex hormones. Both male and female sex hormones are produced by the adrenal cortex throughout life in relatively small amounts. Although the bulk of sex hormones produced by the innermost cortex layer are androgens. Ano yung androgens? Male sex hormones. Some estrogens o yung ating female sex hormones are also formed. Okay, ano naman yung mga hormones ng ating adrenal medulla? Now, the adrenal medulla, like the posterior pituitary, develops from a knot of nervous tissue. Ito yung mga hormones na makikita mo o pinuproduce ng ating adrenal medulla, catecholamines. When the medulla is stimulated by the sympathetic nervous system neurons, its cells release two similar hormones, epinephrine, also called as adrenaline, and norepinephrine, ating noradrenaline. Saan sila pumupunta? Sa ating bloodstream. Collectively, these hormones are referred to as catecholamines. So these are the function. Now basically, the catecholamines increase heart rate, blood pressure, and blood glucose levels and dilate the small passageways of the lungs. The catecholamines of the adrenal medulla prepare the body to cope with a brief or short-term stressful situation and cause the so-called alarm stage of the stress response. Now, we're gonna have pancreatic eyelid. So let's define this. The pancreas located close to the stomach in the abdominal cavity is a mixed gland. Bakit siya tinawag na mixed gland? Malalaman mo. Now, eyelid of the Langerhans. The eyelid of the Langerhans is also called pancreatic eyelid, are little masses of hormones producing tissue that are scattered among the enzyme producing acinar tissue of the pancreas. Ano yung hormones niya? There's two important hormones produced by the eyelid cells. These are insulin and glucagon. Alam mo na? Eyelid cells. Eyelid cells act as fuel sensors secreting insulin and glucagon appropriately during fed and fasting states. Insulin kapag nagfe-feed, glucagon kapag nagfa-fast. Beta cells. High levels of glucose in the blood stimulate the release of insulin from the beta cells of the eyelid. Alpha cells. Glucagon's released by the alpha cells of the eyelid is stimulated by low blood glucose levels. Insulin. Insulin acts on just about all the body cells and increases their ability to transport glucose across their plasma membranes. Because insulin sweeps glucose out of the blood, its effect is said to be hypoglycemic. Glucagon. Glucagon acts as an antagonist of insulin. That is, it helps to regulate blood glucose levels, but in a way opposite that of insulin. Its action is basically hyperglycemic, and its primary target organ is the liver, which it stimulates to break down stored glycogen into glucose and release the glucose into the blood. Now, what is your pineal gland? Now, the pineal gland, also called the pineal body, is a small cone-shaped gland. Now, where is this located? The pineal gland hangs from the roof of the third ventricle of the brain. Ito po siya. Napakaliit lang ng pineal gland. Ano ang function niya? Now, melatonin. Ito ang kanyang nire-release. Naalala mo si melatonin? Melatonin is the only hormone that appears to be secreted in substantial amount by the pineal gland. The levels of melatonin rise and fall during the course of the day and night. Peak levels occur at night and make us drowsy, as melatonin is believed to be the sleep trigger that plays an important role in establishing the body's day-night cycle. Thymus gland, you guys. Thymus gland, location niya sa ating upper thorax posterior to the sternum. Ito siya. Now, what are the hormones? Thymosin. The thymus produces a hormone called thymosin and others that appear to be essential for normal development of the special group of white blood cells, yung ating T lymphocytes or T cells, and the immune response. Gonads. On this slide, we're going to discuss the hormones of ovaries and the hormones of testis. Eto na tayo. Ano nga ba ang ating gonads? Now, the female and male gonads produce sex hormones that are identical to those produced by adrenal cortex cells. The major difference are the source and relatively amount produced. Isa-isayin natin to. What are the hormones of your ovaries? Okay, anong location nito? The female gonads are located in the pelvic cavity. Ano yung hormones niya? Una, steroid hormones. Besides producing a female sex cells, ovaries produce the two organs of steroid hormones, estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen. Alone, the estrogens are responsible for the development of sex characteristics in women at puberty. Acting with progesterone, estrogens promote breast development and cyclical changes in the uterine lining o yung ating menstrual cycle. Ano pa? Progesterone. Progesterone acts with estrogen to bring about the menstrual cycle. During pregnancy, it quiets the muscle of the uterus so that an implanted embryo will not be aborted and helps prepare the breast tissue for lactation. What about the hormones of the testes? I-discuss natin to ha. The testes of the male are paired oval organs in a sac. Anong location niya? The testes are suspended in a sac, the scrotum outside the pelvic cavity. Now, in addition to male sex cells or sperm, the testes also produce male sex hormones, yung ating androgens, of which testosterone is the most important. Testosterone. At puberty, testosterone promotes the growth and maturation of the reproductive system organs to prepare the young man for reproduction. It also causes the male secondary sex characteristics to appear and stimulates male sex drive. Testosterone is also necessary for the continuous production of the sperm. Physiology of the endocrine system. Guys, malapit na tayo, kumalma kayo. Now on this slide, we're going to have the chemistry of hormones, mechanism of hormone action, and control of hormone release. Now, what is the chemistry of hormones, you guys? Now, the key to the incredible power of the endocrine glands is the hormones they produce and secrete. Yes, when you talk about endocrine system, you are talking about hormones. Hormones may be defined as chemical substances that are secreted by endocrine cells into the extracellular fluids and regulate the metabolic activity of other cells in the body. Classification. Although many different hormones are produced, nearly all of them can be classified chemically as either amino acid-based molecules, including proteins, peptides, and amines, or steroids. Steroid hormones made from cholesterol include the sex hormones made by the gonads and hormones produced by the adrenal cortex, amino acid-based hormones. All the others are non-steroidal amino acid derivatives. Next, mechanism of hormone action. Alright, although the blood-borne hormones circulate to all the organs of the body, a given hormone affects only certain tissue cells or organs. Target cells. For a target cell to respond to the hormone, specific protein receptors must be present on its plasma membrane or in its interior to which the hormone can attach. Only when this binding occurs can hormone influence the working of cells. Naalala mo yung function ng ating target cells, ang iyong receptor cells, at ang iyong mismong enzyme, yung hormone. Kailangan yon para mag-take effect ang ating mga hormones. The function of hormones. The hormones bring about their effects on the body cells primarily by altering cellular activity, that is, by increasing or decreasing the rate of normal or usual metabolic process rather than stimulating a new one. Changes in hormone binding. The precise changes that follow hormone binding depend on a specific hormone in the target cell type, but typically one or more of the following occurs. Changes in plasma membrane permeability or electrical state. Synthesis of protein or certain regulator molecules such as your enzymes in the cell. Activation or inactivation of enzymes, stimulation of mitosis, and your promotion of secretory activity. Now, control of hormone release. Okay, kakasunod pa. O, kalma kayo, galaw-galaw. Now, what prompts the endocrine glands to release or not release their hormones? Negative feedback mechanism. Negative feedback mechanisms are the chief means of regulating blood levels of nearly all hormones. Endocrine gland stimulation. The stimuli that activate the endocrine organs fall into three major categories: hormonal, humoral, and neural. Hormonal stimuli. The most common stimulus is a hormonal stimuli, in which the endocrine organs are prodded into action by other hormones. Humoral stimuli. Changing blood levels of certain ions and nutrients may also stimulate hormone release, and this is referred to as humoral stimuli. Neural stimuli. In isolated cases, nerve fibers stimulates hormone release, and the target cells are said to respond to neural stimuli. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching. I hope you learned something. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more nursing educational videos. If you haven't watched the other anatomy and physiology discussion I did, I'll be putting it on the description box, or just simply click the icon button, huh? Maraming salamat po. We've been really growing, and I really appreciate all of you guys. So, ipamalita mo na sa mga co-nurses natin dyan, mga kabaro natin, ang libre at pinakamasaya at pinakamadaling review center sa YouTube. I'll see you again next time, nurses. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. Helping grow my channel. You are already here. You might as well subscribe. subscribe, #Team Kulto. Give this video a big thumbs up and share with your friends. Let me know what you guys think. You put them down in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to check out the other playlists I created for you. I'll be putting the links on the description box or simply click this icon button right here. Let's connect. Follow me on all my other social media accounts. Everything is at Galve. I'll see you again